Hello everybody, welcome to my first true guide of web programming and design. In this episode, we'll be talking about the first element of web design, which is HTML. HTML is a markup language and is used to make a foundation or a super basic layout of what will go on the page. We will be discussing on how to style the page and how to add functionality later in the episodes. So let's get started. First, it's okay to use Google when you're working. Legit, nothing wrong with it. Everybody uses it. Beginners, professionals, intermediates, it's okay. Nothing wrong. So, let's get started. So, I will be talking about the most important and the most common things about HTML. HTML uses tags. Tags look like this. I'll be talking about the most common ones. Doctype, HTML, head, title, H1, P, BR, HR, B, A, style, div, script, and UL. That may sound a lot, but you'll get used to it and you'll pick up fairly quickly. If you don't, it's okay. Just keep practicing. Eventually you will. That's the thing with programming, is it's not a race. It's a marathon, I guess you can say. It's not a sprint. It's just everyone has their own pace of learning, especially this. So, first off, Doctype. Doctype is a type of thing you always want to put atop of your HTML page. And what it does is it just tells the browser that it's going to be a HTML. It's just good practice to do it. I used it without it and everything just ran just fine, but I would just do it just in case. So here's an example of it, as you can see on the screen. And yeah, that's it. So HTML is just where you just put all your HTML inside. It's just good practice again to have it. You'll be fine if you don't, but just put it. That's where you want to put all your chunk in, I guess you could say. It's sort of like the Doctype is kind of like a title in an essay, and the HTML is kind of like the page, I guess. Other way around, if you want to say that. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you kind of get it, you'll get it. And the head is where you usually want to put all your script tags, your styles tags, I guess you could say, where you want to put kind of all the main information that the user does not see on top. And head usually goes on top of the head of the file, as you can see. So I'll show you kind of like a typical page, kind of just a typical what I like to use. And head, as you can see, is linked to a lot of the JavaScript, and JavaScript can go really huge, as you can see. Tons of frameworks, tons of libraries, links to CSS frameworks. CSS is just styling. Don't get scared. Once you get it's pretty easy. Once it's nice, kind of cool. As the head has all the kind of the important stuff that you want to kind of load in first, I would say. That's kind of a good thing. You want to load the most important things. So title is kind of the first thing. When you open up a web page, as you can see, you see how it says Google. That's the web page, or Hello YouTube. That's where you can easily just put in to see and display what you want to see on there. So H1 is kind of a header. It goes all the way to 6, so you can kind of like format it: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. So it's important if you want to have big bold text. Of course, with CSS, you can change any of these, or change most of them fairly, to whatever style you want. That's the cool thing about this. But H1 is just a header, and it's big, bold, as you can see right there. So next we have P, which stands for paragraph, which is kind of where you want to use it for most of your long paragraphs. That's it really. You can swap it with B if you want to keep it bold, which I'll be talking soon. BR is break. BR and HR, those two are the only ones that don't really use a closing tag. As you can see, all of them use a closing tag for head or body, whatever as you can see. HR and BR absolutely do not need it. It's kind of like just a single function, I guess you would say. And BR breaks a new line, and HR makes this dash line, and it's kind of nice, I guess. Play around with it, you can see. Next we have B, which stands for bold, which just makes the text bolder in a paragraph format. A is for, you can usually use it for kind of like a URL redirect to a new page, which can be google.com or it can be to your contact page on this on your own website. Go on it later, but we're just talking about the basics. Next, we got style, which talks about the styling of you can include in your HTML how to style the page. Not so important now because usually you have your own CSS file most of the time. But as you see in my example, I usually just have that just because I want to, I guess you could say. Just nice formatting. My opinion, the most important one is div. Div, it means a section. So you need to have sections in your page. It's kind of, like I said, HTML is like a layout language, if that makes sense. You kind of make the layout, as you can see, and you build upon it from CSS to make it look pretty, and then JavaScript adds the functionality of what you want to do with it. So div makes it sections. You keep it organized. It's super important. You can pick the div up pretty quick. It's a little tricky at first, but once you master what you can do with div, you pretty much know HTML after that. Script, basically, that's if you want to insert JavaScript. As I said, with CSS, you usually want to use your own JavaScript file, which you load in from that. But if you ever want to, and UL is usually for a list. It means a list can be tabs on the top of like a page. You know how you have home, products, contact, whatever. That's a UL usually. You have it's just items, a list. Another one is just like a checkbox, I guess, like a bunch of checkboxes. That should be also you. So this sounds a lot painful. It sounds scary. This might be very difficult. I understand. This was the same feeling I had when I first started. But what I recommend is just keep going forward and just rewatch it multiple times, and then following me in the later guides where I actually start showing you and actually just build some things, and we can see where we go off from there. So it's okay. Next episode we'll talk about how it all comes together with styling. Programming is a very difficult task, I admit it, but if you stay with it and keep growing, you will get it. It's different for each person, I guarantee it, but you will eventually get it if you keep on trying. So just keep going, trust me on this. I thought I was stupid, but once I kind of got it, like, oh, this is actually kind of fun and stuff, and yeah. So please leave a like down below if you liked it, subscribe to see more content, and comment down below what you want to see next. Thanks.